Yeah.
So, welcome everyone. It's Barbara with Dhrupad Love and Cats, and I'm talking today with my wonderful teacher, Madhuvanti. And thank you for joining us today, Madhuvanti.
Thank you for inviting me.
So, the topic for today is questions that I have had about the nature of playing for other people or performance, um, and and how that all works in Drupad, where we know the nature of the music is meant to take us inside and be more meditative. So could you talk to me about some of these issues? So how do we think about, is there an audience? Who are the people that we're playing for? Are we playing for anybody? Are we playing for ourselves? What about God? What would you say about all these questions?
Okay. So there is audience and there is not an audience. We are playing for ourselves. We are also playing for the audience. There is God and there is also no God. So all these things, all these dichotomies, they're true and false at the same time. So the nature of Drupad, it's essentially temple music, right?
Mhm.
So you are anyways playing for God. But then, how Drupad became very popular was because of the royal courts. In royal court, it's definitely a performance. There is an audience.
Yeah.
So both the ways, like how Tansen and Baiju Baura, both disciples of Swami Haridas, they decided. Tansen went to the royal court and Baiju Baura decided not to go to the royal court, just to play or sing in nature.
Mm.
And nature was his audience. Now, is there really an audience? So, if I talk from my perspective, or what I have been taught, is that when we are playing, we kind of become like a medium, right? So, are we really playing it, or is it playing through us? That boundary,
Mm.
it becomes very blurred, no? And the deeper you go, the more blurred it becomes. So, if that blurry thing that starts happening, the first thing that happens is that instead of I doing it, I become a witness. It's
Mm.
happening. I'm just a witness of that. Now, when there are people around me, or if it's being recorded, then what is really happening? Am I performing for the gallery?
Mm.
In my way, I'm never going to. I'm
Mm.
never going to play for an audience. So for me, what is it? Okay, I am going in this journey, and all of you are also witness. You are witnessing me taking this journey, and not only witnessing, you are also in this journey with me.
Mhm.
So that separation between the audience and the performer, it also dissolves. If
Mm.
if if somebody is performing, I have to use the word performance because there is no other word for it.
Yeah.
If somebody is performing, and if you are really drowned in that performance, hand slips, you also feel that extreme pain of that hand slip as the performer,
Mm.
or the performer tried something and the voice didn't get there. The audience, they also feel that intense pain at the same time. Oh, it didn't happen.
Mm.
And that excitement, sometimes it's not possible to contain it, but also at the same time, something beautiful came out.
Mm.
The joy that the performer feels,
Mm.
the audience, they also feel the same amount of joy and performance, given that they are in that performance so deeply with them. Okay, I'll just take this call with me. Oh, I'll just message me, Daddy.
I'll pause. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So if the audience is there, if they are also willing to be meditative with the artist, and if the artist, instead of performing, is trying to go to that deeper truth of the sound.
Mm,
So it's like that transfer, how the transfer of knowledge happens. It's always a 50-50, no? The guru and the disciple, both of them, they have to be on the same ground. Then only the transfer happens. Same with the artist and the audience. If both of them, they want to become witnesses to a much deeper truth,
mm,
it just happens effortlessly. But if the audience is there to see a performance and the artist is seeking that deeper truth, then the audience might not, they will still feel everything the artist is feeling, but then they didn't sign up for that. So they will run away screaming, maybe, like how students who just want to learn the instrument and not the music,
yeah.
or they just people who just want to learn Drupad because it's fancy nowadays,
Mm,
how they will run away the moment the deeper truth is put in front of them. Same thing will maybe happen to those kind of audiences, but they will still feel what's happening. They just didn't sign up for it. Now, the audience, they want to feel the deeper sense, the deeper truth. And the artist is willing to just perform and do some entertainment.
yeah.
Then again, the audience, they will be disappointed
Mm,
because they don't want a performance. They want to feel something which is much deeper. They
mm,
want to go on a journey with that artist.
yeah.
So there is performance and there is no performance. There
Mm,
is an audience and there is no audience.
mm,
There is a separation between the artist and the audience, and there is also no separation between the artist and the audience. And God, again, are we playing for God or are we not playing for God? The moment you start entering into the sur, you have already felt this. The
mm,
moment you start looking deeper into those movements of any sur,
mm.
there it's not that difficult that you get drowned into that and then you can't move away from that sur and you can't go to the next sur and the phrase is lost. No? Now, if you just go a little more deeper, then are you, is this really just the sound or is that the eternal truth? Your
Mm,
ego also dissolves with that sound. You are the Dr. Barbara Fox, it's not there anymore. You
mm.
don't know who you are, you don't know what you're doing. And the sad thing is, after it has happened, you don't even remember what happened. That it's like being in an anesthesia. And Chote Guruji used to say this so often that the goal of this music is to paralyze the brain.
Mm,
Your brain, it just has to stop working. It can't make any decision. It can't do anything. So you are just floating
mm,
either under the sea or in space or wherever you want to float or mid-air. And in their performances, many people actually experienced those.
mm,
So it's the artist and the audience, or the guru and the disciple. It's the same thing. And is there really a difference between the guru and the disciple?
mm,
Actually not, no. If the guru is very good, the disciple is very bad. It doesn't work. And the disciple is very good, the guru doesn't want to teach. It doesn't work. So it's the same thing with the artist and the audience as well.
yeah.
Does that answer
Well,
your question? Did I
yeah.
miss something?
No, no, I think don't think so. So that makes me also think about what ZM Dagar used to say about, you know, we should pray while we're playing or play while we're praying, or so is playing or singing also prayer, or How do you do that?
Yes,
How
absolutely.
do you,
Absolutely.
do you
So
do you
there
think
are
about
different
God
stages.
or the divine while
Yes,
you're
there are
playing?
different stages of that. There are different stages of evolution in that. So, and it like how those movements of sur, how it walks, it all these things they're all interrelated, no? This
Mm,
thing also works like that. So how the shrutis are moving. Some people will see the movement, will go in those movements, and then they know how to control those little bit whenever they choose to.
mm,
Some people they have to first control and then they can give up the control and just enjoy those movements as they're happening. Same way, uh, for example, you and me, for you, you don't have to really think about the divinity, no?
mm,
You can just access that.
mm,
For me, maybe because I'm so much more younger than you,
mm,
how I started was, do I want to play for human beings or do I want to play for the divine? And I'm talking about my teenage years.
mm,
So I chose that, okay, so I can't talk about these humanly feelings. I don't relate to those very much. So I
mm,
have to talk from a much deeper perspective, much deeper truth. And I have to try to tap into that thing. And then initially, definitely, there was a trial. But then Chota Guruji happened. So then what happened was, the moment I started looking deeper into Sur, and when I started accessing those movements of the Sur,
mm,
the moment the ego starts dissolving and am I playing it or am I just the medium? Then the ego has dissolved a little bit. Then also that prayer aspect, you don't have to do it consciously anymore.
mm,
Everything just becomes a prayer.
mm.
So if the ego is not there anymore, you just experience divinity, you just
Yeah,
experience blissfulness throughout. Because you yourself, you are not there, so you don't have to consciously
right.
try to pray. Your music becomes your prayer.
Mm,
And there is no separation between your music and your prayer. But for people who are not uh, able to access that ishke hakiki and iske mausiki, we were talking about this previously in our lesson.
yes.
Uh, People who cannot access that ishke mausiki, they have to start from ishke hakiki.
Yeah.
So if you are starting from ishke hakiki, you have to pray, you have to talk about human emotions. Only then you get to achieve that. But when you are in ishke hakiki, everything is divine, everything is love,
Mm,
everything is for God.
mm,
And then you don't have to try anymore. It just happens effortlessly. And you don't, that separation between you and God, that also starts dissolving. And see the beauty here in Indian philosophy, this Advaita and Dvaita,
mhm,
these two have always been, no one has been able to solve the problem. No, but aren't they really the two sides of the same coin?
mhm,
Same thing here also. Do you pray and try to play for God? Do you do that by trying, or it is just how it is? You
mhm.
just accept, yes, this is what is divine. You are just there. But then you have to also want to go in, go that deep. No,
Yeah,
everybody might not want to.
yeah.
If you
It, yeah. It goes
want to
back
look that
to
deeper,
go ahead.
then you don't have to try. It is the nature of the sound.
Yeah.
It just happens effortlessly.
Mm, mm,
That separation is not there.
yeah.
It's just pray and play, they become synonymous.
Mm,
That's how it is, I think. I think also for Badu Ustad it was the same.
yeah. Mm. So you talked a little bit about feelings just now. In Western music, it's a lot about emotion, outward emotion, sometimes very big, dramatic, Beethoven symphony, wow, emotion.
Mm.
But not in of course it also takes us inside, but I think my understanding is that in Dhrupad it's all about coming inside. So does that mean we're not expressing our feelings, or then what is?
We are expressing our feelings. We are definitely, but then see, all the feelings and the realizations, there will be different levels, no? So, uh, you, what stage of feeling do you want to really express? The question comes there. So, uh, in Beethoven symphonies or in Western music, all the feelings are outbound. But in Drupal, it's all about the inbound feelings and inbound expressions, and all those things, they come from a much very deep retrospection. So then when it happens like that, the feelings that you want to express, they come from a much deeper place, no? And they will never be so flashy. So suppose when you're a teenager and you fall in love, everything is so vibrant and everything is so in your face, no?
Yeah.
But when you're a 60-year-old and you fall in love with a cat or uh, with a goddess or with an instrument, will you feel the same way as a teenager? That love?
Thank goodness, no.
Is this love any less than those loves? Or suppose now you're a 60-year-old and you know this man who have been there throughout, and suppose he was your lover throughout your life. So the love you feel at the teenage years and the love you feel as a 60-year-old now, will that be the same kind of love?
Mm-mm.
Now, when you want to express that love, will that teenage expression come out anymore? Does that mean that love is has become anything less or any less something like that?
Mm-mm.
It's not possible. So, when you talk about that deep feeling, that very outboundness, it can't be there anymore. No? So when you're a teenager and you tell somebody that I love you, it's all about those outbound expressions, outbound, and there is nothing wrong in that.
Mhm.
But then when you're a 60-year-old and you say I love you to the same person
Mhm.
after say like almost 40 years and you have been together for 40 years, it comes from much deeper, and that very outbound thing, it's not there anymore. No? So then that excitement, that very va va voom, that thing, it can't be there.
Mm.
So, and what we want people who are listening to this music, what we want them to experience, it's not that uh, uh, that emotion which is very superficial. We want them to experience an emotion which is very deep:
Mm.
happiness, sorrow, love, devotion, whatever emotion it may be. And are we really in control of those emotions?
Mm.
I'm asking you,
Mm.
are we? So, suppose you're doing Basant Mukhari,
Mm.
and we always play with love, with devotion, but one day your Basant Mukhari just might become very sad.
Mm.
Are you controlling that? Or one day it might just become extremely happy. Are you in control of that?
Mm.
I'm not. I'm never in control of that. So
Mm.
Oh, okay, so it happened. Oh, it became very sad today. Okay, I just have to accept it. It just
Mm,
happens at that time like that. It-
mm,
Because I'm also a witness. I'm not really in control, am I?
mm. Right.
So
Mm,
those emotions that you are going to experience or the audience is going to experience is are those really under our control? No,
mm,
actually not. Everything, like it's like swimming in a river.
mm,
You're just swimming, you're just floating. That's it. Nothing else. Nothing more than that. You're just floating. The current of the river is going to take you wherever you need to go.
mm.
Maybe you are just flapping your hand a little bit, maybe doing a little bit of backstroke, but you can't control the flow of the river's water.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Mm. So can I ask you a similar question about beauty? So we try to make the music beautiful with ornamentation, but isn't that also taking us outward to an outward focus? And aren't we also asking our audience or the people who are journeying with us to to come out of themselves and look at the beauty of the phrase or the sur? So isn't that also an outward expression, or do we somehow make that an inward expression?
Again, performance and music.
Mm,
Again, it comes down to this. Now,
mm,
see, all the ornamentations, all of them, either you can use them just to beautify and just to show how skillful you are to play. Because all the ornamentations, they're going to be more difficult, right?
mhm,
So you can either use them as part of your performance just to see how beautifully I can play, how much ornamented my playing is, or it just without those ornamentations, this phrase is incomplete.
mm,
That ornamentation comes as a performance, then definitely you're coming out.
yeah.
Then it's part of a performance. Then you're performing that. But then when it comes from much more deeper within, then that that ornamentation, it's not really a performance, no. It also comes from a much deeper realization. And that phrase, is it to show, or that performance, is it to show the skill of the musician, or is that music incomplete without that ornamentation?
Mm,
If that sound, if you are not consciously choosing to put ornamentation there, and if it just happens there, if it just comes out there, then is it really, are you really coming out?
mm,
You're not. Now, you go very deep into that phrase or very deep into that sound, and the spurit happens. Are you really coming out of that phrase?
mm,
Or suppose this re re na na re re na na. The second one, this can't be that phrase. No? It's
mm,
not the same phrase. Or re na re na, two different phrases.
mhm,
Or g se re sa g se re. The phrase also, it becomes different. Now, if I do ga sa re sa pa da ni sa ga re, now it's a performance. So how Is that ornamentation also really coming out
mm,
in order to perform or
mm,
just to experience that beauty
mm,
or to show off your skill? The question comes there.
mm.
Are you really performing or are you just witnessing?
Yeah.
All of this they boil down to that same answer.
Mm,
Now, again, here also this I have to say this now. Will everybody will be able to access this since the beginning? Probably not. I definitely couldn't. But for you, this was the natural state. So people, for most people, they have to start from a more outbound kind of expression of beauty, and slowly they will go to a deeper perspective and a deeper realization.
yeah.
But then there will also be people who can just go there naturally, no? And how much time it's going to take? There is no answer to that. It can be like, oh, today you're an absolute failure, you're not getting it at all, and next morning you wake up and all of a sudden it comes without even trying.
Yeah.
So for me, I wasn't getting sur, I wasn't getting sur, I wasn't getting sur, I wasn't getting sur. It happened, kept on happening. All of all of a sudden one fine day, without even trying to play in sur, oh, I can see all these things happening. And I was like, okay.
Amazing.
So it can also, the switch, it can flip just like this also at any point for anybody.
Mm,
Somebody's not just getting it for a very long time, and all of a sudden one day that switch. So you have heard many of Vinita's experiences like this, not getting these techniques for months, and all of a sudden in the middle of night she wakes up, oh, I know this, and she starts doing that. And it has happened to you also on a much subtler level.
yeah.
It has happened to everybody. And now how you experience beauty, it also changes, no?
Mm,
Throughout your life, throughout your age, with all your life experiences, with the more your soul deepens in a way.
mm,
It's a very wrong way of putting it. The more the vessel becomes stronger, the more the definitions they change, and the more those expressions will also change. What is beautiful will also change,
mm,
and how you experience those will also change. It's like how you taste food inside your mouth also, no? It
mm,
changes as you age.
mm,
It's just like that.
mm,
Does it answer your question?
mhm. Yeah. Thank you. So I have another question related to the whole performance issue, which is some of your students, maybe especially the Westerners, can get nervous if they think they're playing for someone, whether it's a recording or in person. What would you recommend for us?
Don't care about it because I also get nervous till today. And I know of many great artists till the day they died. They felt nervous whenever they're performing. It's just how it is. It's just we have to access that. So there is this dichotomy, we are not performing, we are there, but all the eyes are on us, whether it's via camera or whether it's on a live scenario. So in the beginning, all that nervousness, all that fear of judgment, that's going to be there.
Mm,
It's okay. But
yeah.
if you accept that and just bear with it and just try to do what you're doing, is that you're trying to look at that sound and look at that sur from a deeper perspective and just bear with that fear for some time. The moment you go deep into that sound, all these things they dissolve.
Mm,
For me, I'll tell you, when I was a violinist, my hands literally sometimes they would go like this, my legs would start doing like this.
uh-huh.
And even as a Veena player, I used to get those things
mm,
very nervous. And over time, definitely it fixes itself. You become stronger and you become more confident in a way.
no,
You get used to that pressure in a way. But
mm,
also, even when I am extremely nervous, I'm extremely scared, even then, if you just bear with it for some time, maybe like for as long as you're making this thigh, by that time, if you go deeper into that sound, and if you start looking deeper into that music, your ego dissolves.
mm,
Then even you are not there anymore.
mm,
Nothing is there. The audience is not there. You are not there. The music is just
mm,
happening and you are just witnessing and they're also witnessing with you.
mm,
Then it kind of fades away. Then those things are not a problem anymore.
mm,
Because then it doesn't matter if they're judging you or not. Because see, the moment we are at that position that we are willing to share, we are at our most vulnerable.
yeah,
Do we accept our mistakes and our vulnerability and still choose to share the beauty that we are experiencing or not?
mm,
It's the choice we have to make. The moment you make the choice that yes, I can experience some beauty and I want to share that with you.
mm,
I want to take you on with me in this journey. Then you accept that yes, there are going to be mistakes.
yeah,
My hand is going to slip. If everything comes out perfectly, then everything is rehearsed. No,
right,
if it's happening on the spot and nothing is rehearsed, 100% possibility is always there that everything is going to go wrong. Do you accept that? If you accept that, then what if everything is going wrong? It's okay.
mm,
And it's not your fault. It doesn't make you a bad musician.
yeah. I was re-listening to the exquisite performance of Vartani that ZM Dagger recorded, and his hand slips. He plays a note that's not even in the rag.
Yes.
It's
His hand
un-
slips and just look at the audience's reaction there. They
yes,
also
everybody.
feel the same pain.
Yeah,
Yes. Because they are also in the journey with Bade Ustad
yeah,
and they are equally involved like Bade Ustad.
yeah.
They also experience that pain equally like the performer. And there is no judgment there. Does that hand slip make Bade Ustad any less good
No,
music?
no, and that recording. I mean, as you
He's
said,
the
is the
best
greatest.
example of what Rudraveena should be. In my opinion, at least, that is the best Rudraveena recording ever.
Hmm.
That is everything what a Rudraveena player should be. That is everything that all of us we should strive for. Now, because all the aspects of Rudraveena, all the Shruti works, all this acceptance, everything we can see so beautifully in that recording.
Yeah.
Now, so the judgment, every time I play something, I take something risky, there is 100% possibility that my Mizrab is going to miss or my left hand is going to slip. Do I accept? And I sleep, right?
Hmm.
Many of those things are there, and you know this. Like after everything I play, most of the times I am miserable that so many things went wrong.
Yeah.
But there is still beauty in that,
Hmm.
right? And I choose to share that, even though I know that these are flawed. I have so many flaws there. We're still human beings. We're
Hmm.
not perfect. Now, the moment you start accepting that, it starts getting better. And even today, even now, I am nervous.
Hmm.
But do I run away because I'm nervous, or do I choose to deal with it and still share whatever I can share, which I think might be valuable or might be beautiful?
Yeah.
Even though I know there are, whatever I'm saying, there might be so many flaws in it, but
Hmm.
even though there might be something which can be good to somebody, I just choose to share that. The
Yeah.
moment when you are performing or playing for somebody, the moment you accept that, things get better. Then that problem gets better.
Mm.
We don't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
We are not supposed to be perfect.
We can't be
The
in this
hand
world.
slips, they are supposed to be there
Yeah.
because it's not a performance. No?
Yeah.
Nothing is rehearsed. What if the hand slip happens? What's wrong in it?
Mm.
It's not bound to be perfect. But what you do after that, that is what that counts. Do you run away or do you accept that and move on with it? That nervousness, that initial nervousness when the hands are shaking and oh, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
That gets better within the first couple of phrases. The moment you start going deeper into that sound, the deeper you go, the better it gets. Now, we musicians also experience something very similar. What they in they call in sports that state of flow,
Mm-hmm.
sports and in writing. But
Mm.
what we in Drupad we experience is not the state of flow. It's something completely different from that.
Mm.
And it might not happen always, but whenever it happens, when it happens, you don't remember what has happened after the performance. You don't know anything. What went on, for how long it happened, what happened right and what happened wrong. You just don't even remember. It's just like you it's not even a trance, it's more like
Mm.
your brain was under anesthesia. And again, did I just say this like Chote Guruji used to say the goal of this music is to paralyze the mind
Mm.
so that it can't think anymore. So when you get there,
Mm.
you are literally paralyzed. You don't even remember what has happened.
So even the witness
And
has dissolved at that point.
yes, even the witness is not there anymore. So maybe, and if you really choose to come back, sometimes you can come back. Oh, okay, Jhala is going on, and then again you don't know anything. Oh, okay, Jodi is going on. Again, you don't know anything,
I
and
think it's
you
called
don't even know if you're in sur or not, if you're playing still the same rag or not, if the rag has changed or not, or what is happening. That witness is also not there anymore,
oh my gosh.
and even the sound, it's not there anymore. Nothing is there. You're just paralyzed. That memory itself, it's gone. It's everything is deleted from your brain. That time of your life is just it's like you were under an anesthesia. And it's not only for the artist. If the audience they choose to access that with the artist there, they can also go into that. And that's the goal.
Yeah.
We as artists, we want to take the audience in this journey with us.
So
But
I
the
think
audience has to also choose.
that requires some explanation because for many Westerners, that would be like saying the goal of going to a symphony is to fall asleep. Why would you pay money to fall asleep? So, so
No, it's not about to fall asleep. You don't really
yeah,
fall asleep. You are wide awake, but you don't know what's going on.
I think
And
it's
this
called
actually, I
Turiya
think,
state, right?
yeah, sorry,
I
please.
think it's called Turiya state, the state beyond.
Turiya. Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes, yes. That's the Turiya. In
yeah.
Bengali, we call it Turjo. But yeah,
Ah,
that's the Turiya step. You, you, and you just achieve there just like that
mhm,
without any effort. So in the this is why Nada Yoga is given that much of importance in Indian philosophies. That
yeah,
in any other spiritual journey, to access that realm, you have to do sadhana for a very long time.
yeah.
Here, you just have to be open enough to achieve that, and you just access that without any training, anything. Nothing is recorded. It's an instant
Mm.
uh, thingy. But yeah, now when you are going, why would somebody pay to go to sleep? No, you don't have to pay to go to sleep, but you're not going to go to sleep. It's not like sleep. After you wake up, you just woke up from a sleep, you just feel rested.
Yeah.
But when this music is over and you come back to your senses, it's an experience. You feel that 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 what's the pronunciation? Ecstasy.
Ecstasy.
Ecstasy. That ecstasy, it remains with you for a very long time.
Mm.
That abhogi,
Mm.
Guruji's last performance, that
Yeah.
abhogi, people cried,
Mm.
and it's a very sad rag. People are crying, but they're
Mm.
they're ecstatic at the
Yeah.
same time also.
Yeah.
So it's possible. Now, if you just wake up from sleep, will you feel like that?
Mm. No.
So it's just like that. Now, in a symphony, maybe the goal, because of that, the goal of that music is something different. In a symphony, you go to a symphony, you fall asleep, you wake up, maybe it's a different experience. But in Drupad, the experience is a little bit different, I think, from that.
Mm.
It's not going, and if you fall asleep, it's okay to fall asleep. No one is going to judge you. We
Mm.
want you to fall asleep. But if you can still be awake and still paralyzed, that's even better.
Yeah.
That's when the magic happens. But definitely for everybody, that might not happen in the first performance, the
Mm.
first Drupal concert that they go to. And also that artist, that's also, there is a question mark also on the artist, no? What is
Yes.
the goal of that artist?
Yeah.
If he or she is choosing to perform,
Yeah.
then you will just sleep and wake up and go back. If the artist is choosing just to perform, because a Drupad artist, they also might just choose to perform and just look at it as an performance. No?
Hmm.
But if the artist really wants to go into the journey and take you in the journey with him or her, and then it's a different story.
Yeah.
That same recording of Pardhini of Paros, that how you listen to it.
Mm.
Some people might just go to sleep, some people might not go to sleep. For me, I won't be able to sleep if I listen to that.
Beautiful.
It's just like that.
Mm.
It's all up to you. How deep do you want to look at things?
Mm.
Is it just a form of music, or is it something deeper than that?
Yeah.
Do you do this music for entertainment or to earn money or to perform, or do you want to access something more deeper?
Mm.
That's something deeper. That's something spiritual. That's divinity.
Well, thank you so much. This has been so, you okay?
Sorry.
So helpful for me, and I'm sure for anybody who wants to watch this, it will be helpful to have that very different perspective we're used to.
I don't think my perspective is very different. I think most of the Drupad musicians will agree with me on this. Whether they choose to talk about this in front of everybody or not, that's a different question.
Mhm.
But I don't think any of my perspective is different at all. I think everybody will agree with me on all of this. But
I think it's maybe a little bit different than Western classical
It's
music, although
probably,
maybe not so much for some musicians too.
yes, yes, probably. We never know because all these things, it's a taboo to talk about this in public, at least in our music, no? In a way,
Ah, interesting.
it's a hush hush within the gharana
Mm.
only, within the secret circle, within the chosen ones. There is this thing, and it's a sad, and that also leads to a lot of confusion.
Mm.
They don't know how to what to look for, how to approach. And I mean, even the audience, they're just, we don't understand Drupad. Why do you have to understand Drupad? It's just listen to it as a sound that's happening, just like cars honking. Do you understand the honk? Just bear with it and see what happens.
Yeah, yeah,
That why can't that openness be there?
yeah.
If somebody is just open enough, the artist and the audience both, and also the student and also the guru, if they're open to go to a deeper state of being, it happens effortlessly. There is no try, no understanding, nothing is needed. Understanding, okay, this is how it happens. It actually comes after the realization has happened, long after the realization. The realization comes
Mm.
fast, no? The realization is the beginning. Then after the realization has happened, you introspect, then you understand,
Yeah.
and then maybe you will be able to explain it. No? But they want to understand and explain it first and then go to that realization. It just
It
doesn't
doesn't
work
happen.
like that.
It doesn't happen that way. Yeah,
Can't. And in any kind of spiritual journey, it's like that.
yeah.
And now, anyways, even the Drupad musicians, they're saying, no, the spirituality, forget about it. If it happens later on, it will happen later on.
Mm.
Have you heard those interviews? No.
No.
The one must not be named. There is an interview of him. No. Yes. 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 I think it's there also. It's there on YouTube. You can find it. So you don't have to try to access it. If it happens, it happens. He's also true from his perspective, but that the way he explains it, I think it's way more confusing like that.
Mm.
Yes, it happens without even trying, but uh, that urge to access something deeper, that urge that needs to be there. No?
Mm.
If without that urge to look deeper, it doesn't happen. If you have that urge, then if it has to happen, it will happen. Just like this.
Mm.
But without that urge, it can't happen. No?
Mm. Yeah.
And again, if both the guru and the disciple, or the artist and the audience, if they're right, if there is no boundary between them, both parties
Yeah.
in any condition, if they're open enough. So tell me this, when we are teaching, what is really different from a performance in a teaching? I'm playing or singing something
Yeah.
and maybe explaining it to you, and then then you are the audience, and then when you are playing, I'm the audience,
Mm-hmm.
isn't it? So is there really a guru? Is there really a shishya? Is there really an artist? Is there really an audience?
Mm.
These dichotomies, those are there for us to understand a little bit easier,
Yeah.
or they are also there to boost our egos, to know where we belong. But if you just look a little deeper, Is there really a difference? Am I really your guru? Or whatever I'm telling you, it's already there within you.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Mm.
If I say, oh, I am the guru and you are the disciple, that boosts my ego. But then, is it really the case? Am I really teaching you any music? I
Mm.
play this. Okay, this is how I look at this phrase.
Yeah.
These are the reasons that I play this phrase this way. Now, you do whichever way you feel is right, no?
Yeah.
So, is there really I am teaching you,
Mm.
or I'm just telling you my perspective and asking you to do however way you want to do it?
Yeah.
But then, definitely, there is also this method of teaching that you copy your guru.
Yeah.
That also works, but that's a little bit different, no? Then maybe the journey is still the same journey, but so both journey ends in the same destination, but they take two different paths. The
Yeah.
destination is always the same, whichever way you choose to take the journey. Does that answer your question? Or does that help with your confusion a little bit?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. This is
You're
really.
most welcome. Do you have any more questions related to this?
I don't think so. I think those were all um, my questions. Yeah, what was all my questions?
Yay! Woohoo!
Phew! Thank you.
Is Grace still there?
No, she left. She's back
Oh,
there.
I bored her. If the Veena was here, she would enjoy that more.
Yeah, I'll turn
Okay.
off the recording.
Whew.